Hello everyone. Today is Saturday, April the 5th, 2025. This is FlossTube number 139. Welcome to my channel, The Serenity Stitcher. And my name is Shelly. And this is my channel where I share about all of the stitching and crafting that I endeavor to do on a daily basis. So mostly cross stitch. Haven't been doing a whole lot of quilting, but you will see some quilting, some diamond painting, some wool applique on this video. So I've got, I'm doing my March recap, and so I had 2 finishes for March. And this is just sort of how I've been doing my plans. So I am participating in Whip Go. If you don't know what Whip Go is, it is a group over on Facebook. It's like a challenge. It's a bingo board. You put your whips on it and your goals, and yeah, she calls numbers on the 25th of every month. So I did participate in Whip Go, and I didn't highlight this, but this is the second finish. And then I tried to get try to stitch on pieces in each category each month. And so that's my goal. This month I didn't stitch on my Memories of the Past sampler, but I did work on a band sampler for Whip Go. So I don't know, I really don't know why I put Memories of the Past on my list, other than I probably wanted to work on it. I didn't have any new starts. So 2 finishes and no new starts leaves me with 47 whips. I started out with 51, and I've had 2 new starts. So there you go. Let's see. So this month, the month of March, I stitched for 29 days on 14 projects and got a total of, it's actually more than what I counted. My band sampler, I didn't count my Borgello stitches, so it's actually more stitches than this, but 74.93 was what I actually counted for the month. So we did have our monthly stitch meeting today. If you're anywhere in my area, which is the northwest corner of Alabama, so northwest Alabama, southern middle Tennessee, northeastern Mississippi. If you're in any of those areas, we would love to have you. We meet in Florence, Alabama, the first Saturday of every month from 10 to 2 at a quilt shop called Calico Rose. And we met today, and usually for the last, I don't know, probably 6 months or so, even though I took a hiatus, so 6 months of filming is longer than 6 months on the calendar. Anyway, I've been, filming when I get home from that. I've kind of thought about doing my vlog style again. I don't know if I'll do that. Anyway, so I always start the first weekend of every month is BBD weekend sale, Blackbird Designs, and so I did stitch some on my Blackbird today at group. And I know this is April, but I'm showing you what I stitched on. I did stitch on this in March too, so some of this is March progress. But I did, today I did manage to get all of the green done on the border. I put this little motif right here, the letter S, finished the green on the border. And right here, it's supposed to have the year. So they have it 2017 on their piece in the book. This is from the Sewing Club by Blackbird. This particular pattern, they don't have numbers with it. They probably have numbers somewhere in the book, but I stitched from my tablet, and so I didn't have the whole book. And so I decided to just, I'm going to flip this little bird and put the mirror image on this side, which is not as easy as you think it would be, at least not for me when you're doing it just looking at it. I had a couple of little spots where I had to like go, okay, wait, you're going the wrong way. So anyway, this is a lot more stitching than I was thinking it was. So I don't know when I'll finish this. I am going to try to stitch on this tomorrow. We do have a family gathering tomorrow, so I don't know how much stitching I will get done, but yeah, I'll try to stitch on this tomorrow. I still got a little, the urn, there's an urn on this side with greenery and flowers, so, and then I've still got all of the rose hips. I've got these little flowers, and then across the bottom as well, so. And then there's also a top piece. This is going to be a drum, and so there's a top piece that has stitching also. You know, which I may decide to just not even do that part of it. This is it's a 40 count atomic ranch. I don't remember the name of the fabric. I want to say it's, I don't know, maybe latte, vanilla latte or something like that. Anyway, I'm picking my own threads, or picked my own threads. Just a variety of overdyes. So got that done. Well, I lied at the beginning of this video. I did stitch some on Memories of the Past, which I didn't think I did. But evidently I did stitch on it one day in March. It shows you how much I remember, because I really don't remember stitching on this in March. But so this is from Hands Across the Sea. This is I think this is a 37 count linen from Lakeside, and I'm using the called for a Veriswa 103 silks, and they are a dream to stitch with. I just love this. I wish they did have variegation to them, but they're still very nice to stitch with. So I've got a little bit done on that. And let's see. So on Mondays, I try to stitch on Christmas pieces. And right now I've got two that I'm rotating on. Sorry. One is Shannon Christine's. This is from 2022. Her 12 Days of Christmas Club. And I've been working on piece 7. I finally finished the stitching. I still need to do the back stitch, and then I need to put beads in the middle of each flower. And I believe I'm going to put beads right here, but I don't remember. But it seems like there's something there on the bottom of the crown. Could be wrong, but anyway. This is a 28 count linen from Zweigart in black. And I'm using her called for DMCs. I am not putting as many beads as the pattern calls for. This all the way around this number and all these filigrees right here, that's all beads on the pattern, and it just was too much. So yeah, see how I did the beads on that crown? I'm going to do that on the crown on number 7 also. And then for the metallic, I'm using Rainbow Gallery Treasure Braid. I find it's a lot easier to work with than Krynic or DMC metallic, or even the Diamante from DMC. This is a piece from sorry, I was raised Cajun, but they never taught us how to speak French, so I'm not great at pronouncing French words, but anyway, so this is from a French company, and it is a Christmas tree. And this is a piece of Atomic Ranch 40 count. And I'm using cardboard DMCs. If I didn't have it, I just substituted something close to it. So I'm not changing colors. I just love that little bird. So got a good bit done, but still got a ways to go. I didn't stitch a whole lot on Shane and Christine. Mostly stitched on this on Mondays when, you know, Merry Monday is what I'm calling it. So, and the way things are right now at work, I'm having to work late on Monday nights. So, yeah, I don't get a whole lot done. I really need to work on that Shane and Christine piece on the weekends when I can stitch during the daylight, because it is it's hard. I have stitched on other black stuff, Ada, and not had as much problem as I have on this, just because it's linen and it's, you know, the holes are not evenly gridded. So, okay. Hang on, I'll be right. Well, I cannot find one of the finishes that I had. So one of my whip go pieces was Stronger Together from Fat Quarter Shop. Every year for Black History Month, they do a fundraiser, and this was from several years ago. I finished it, but I don't know where it's at, so I don't know. But I did take a picture, so I'll include a picture here. And let's see. I'm working on participating in a sale over on Instagram for this piece called Nature's Journey, which is in Just Cross Stitch magazine. It's a series this year. And so this is my start. It starts with spring. This is a 46 count Zweigart. And 46 is not really, it's not my jam. My jam would be 40 count. But there was a business online that was going out, and so I snapped up a bunch of linen that they had on deep discount, and a lot of it was 46 count. So I figured, why not? If I don't stitch on it myself, I can always sell it. But anyway, I'm loving the way this is looking. Using DMC flosses. I stitched on that for 2 days. And then I also stitched on this freebie from Aurifil. This is designed by Susan Aki, and it's called Collecting Colors. And it's collecting colors because it's supposed to like help you build up your Aurifil stash. I'm not stitching with Aurifloss, I'm stitching with DMCs, just pulling my own colors. So I worked on this block right here. It's pretty. This is a 28 count even weave. And then I also stitched on Procrastinating. This was also in the spring issue of Just Cross Stitch magazine. I am changing up colors, and those letters are, especially like this and then this, those are really a lot. These are not bad. These are going fast. I think this is a 32 count, just white Zweigart. And I'm using DMC flosses. Well, like I said, I am making some changes, so. Well, so sorry. I think this is the last time I have to get up to grab anything. So I did work on this St. Patrick's Day Quaker. I'll put the designer down across the bottom. It's from Etsy, and I'm stitching it on, I think this is a 20 count Ada with DMC flosses. I did change this. This was a lighter color and it was really blending in. It still looks like it blends in. I may have to just like outline it or change it to a different color. But got a few days stitching in on that. 3 days, actually. 4 days. Well, 4 days on that. Wow. Okay. I worked on my full coverage this month. I worked on Intricate Intimate Romance. So, last video I shared that I had started this over. So I was stitching it on a gridded even weave and I didn't like it. It wasn't a true 10 by 10 grid that I could tell, and so I did get some Ada and started it over. And I started it, the other one I had started in the middle. This one I decided to start up in the corner. And so I was doing, what was I doing? One strand, half cross. And especially when I got down here to the black, I didn't like it. And so I've started going back over and I'm going to do one strand full cross. And so I went back over on the black and then I started going back and doing, the other half of the X on stuff that I'd already stitched, which is very interesting when you're trying to do this full coverage and go back and find stuff that you've already stitched. I think what I did though, I have it in Pattern Keeper, and so you can search for the color. It highlights all of those stitches in that color, and then so as I stitched over them, I just like clicked it so it went away, and then I didn't frog it or anything. I just, once I got finished with that color, I just said, never mind, and go back to marking them as done, if that makes any sense to you guys. So anyway, let's see. I got 3 days, about 1,200 stitches, so not counting, going back and finishing, putting the second half of the X. So let's see. Okay, I guess I stitched one day on Mini Hydrangea Garden Gate. I don't have that listed on my, I don't have it listed on my, what am I trying to say? My daily, this is my daily plan. I do like to plan out what I want to stitch on daily. And I wasn't planning to stitch on this, but I started this a few years ago with Rachel Q over at Rachel Q Stitches in honor of her mom's birthday, and her mom's birthday was in March, and so I did stitch some, just briefly. Let's see, I got just 221 stitches on it, but I did stitch on it for her birthday. And I love hydrangeas. I love this. It's beautiful. This I am doing. This is a 20 count gridded, and I am doing it, one strand with a full cross. So I kind of wanted to try the half cross just because it's easier. But I really I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way it looks too sparse on it. I've tried doing, half cross when I've done like over one, and I didn't like it then either. So, okay. I did work just briefly, just one day, not even 200 stitches on Happy Haunting. I think that's what it's called. It's from Vat Quarter Shop. I won the fabric and the flosses and these little floss drops from Christine at Stitch All the Things, who doesn't film anymore, but I wanted to try this fabric, and so I just did a little bit of like sort of fill in, did a few more of the letters, filled these little blobs in. So it's not something I would necessarily choose to stitch, you know, just outright, but I did want to try that fabric, and I do like stitching on it. It's Fiber on a Whim, and it's very soft. Okay, I did stitch some on linen and threads. This is, I still call it linen and threads because that's what they were when I stitched this, which is in 2020. It's Fox and Rabbit. And so I did stitch 2 days on this, and I didn't, 2 days, but I didn't write my stitches in the book. I just kept track of them over on Notion. So I was on this motif right here. I finished it, which I think looks like ghosts. I don't know if anybody else can see that, but I see ghosts when I look at it. I stitched this one, I think, completely, this little motif, and then up this way, and then started on this one. So I got a good bit done. Now, this was called Friends and Family, and I was going to put initials, well, I am, initials of my family. So it just so happened that my dad passed in 2020, and so I put that little, this little motif, I put his information in the middle there. And so I don't know, I may go back and take some of these out and put like his, you know, just his side of the family, because I do have like my mom's side, so I may go back and change that. I think this was from, I mean, obviously he died in 2020. This may be from a different year, but it seems like it was 2020. But I mean, 2020 just, it seems like forever ago. It was only 5 years ago, but you know, the whole pandemic and lockdown and all of that was going on. I've had, you know, memories coming up in my feed on Facebook, you know, from that time, and it's just really sort of wild that we lived through that. And you know, then my dad passing away and trying to have a funeral during it, and you know, not even being able to, you know, hug him the last time I saw him. It just so happened we had gone to Louisiana for a visit, and we went to visit him, and he wasn't comfortable with, you know, he wasn't comfortable with us coming inside, which I didn't hold that against him at all. But you know, it started raining when we got there, and so I just sort of waved at him from the car, and you know, he did the little, you know, air hug, and I air hugged him back from the car. And you know, 2 days later, I got the news that he had passed away, and so I was, yeah, that was hard. It's hard when you lose your, you know, your final parent. That was a really hard year all the way around. So, okay. So the other Where are you at? The other Whipco piece for this month was this band sampler. This was another stitch along from just Cross Stitch magazine. So I was part of, and I still am part of, but I don't participate in the magazine monthly challenge group very much on Facebook. I kind of let it go when I was doing Whip Warriors last year, and I just haven't decided to pick it back up. Not to say that I won't, but this was started by someone in that group, and so I did go and post that I had finished it. Now, I did take off some of the bands. It had another band of, it was a band of like spiderweb roses. I started working on that, and I've done those before, but I was just over it, and so I took it out. It had a band of cut work, which I don't feel like I'm there yet skill-wise or even wanting to try it. And so I just skipped down to the bottom to the Borgello. And oof, not hard, but you really have to pay attention, and it's just a lot of stitching. So this is just a cute, fun little, little specialty stitch project. I do love eyelets. These are eyelets, and then these are starburst, no, diamond shape eyelets. And I just used different colors of anchor floss. I do really like stitching with anchor. Okay, so that is what I cross-stitched on. I did start piecing together around this piece. This is Seasons of the Heart Autumn. And I did realize today at our stitch group that I left off stitches right here on the heart. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've looked at this, showed it to you guys, and have never seen it until today. And that's really, ordinarily I wouldn't be concerned about, but this is really what drew me to this pattern, was the heart and, the shape of it and the little curlicueness to it. And so even though I've put interfacing on the back, I think I should be able to go in and put those few little stitches, to just finish that that part of the heart off. So this is just a variety of fall fabrics that I had in my stash. I cut 1.5 inch strips and just sewed them together around the bag. Now it didn't come out, precise right here in the corners, but I don't care. But anyway, I am going to turn this into a project bag one day. I figured that would give me a bag where I can say, hey, my fall project that I'm working on is in that bag. Because I have all of these in bags in a little tote that I have next to my stitching chair, but some days it's like, okay, is it in this bag? No. Is it in this bag? So, and I did work on some wool applique. I got this block finished. So I had finished this part, but I had not put the stars on and I hadn't put the words on. So I got that done, and I did start the next block. And I just noticed, I guess, at some point when I ironed it, it did something to the button, but I mean, it's supposed to look, rustic. So I really like doing wool applique. I don't like doing cotton quilting regular applique by hand, but I do like this, even though, my stitches suck, but I do enjoy doing it. It's sort of a break from, having to follow a pattern. And, you know, this comes out better than any kind of needle turn applique I've done before by hand. I think that's all. I have stitched some on my daughter's quilt. I can insert a picture here. Not as much as I need to. I need to stitch on this more. I need to stitch on it every day. And I just realized I missed one piece. Let's see. I did stitch for one day on the Liberty jar from Hands On Design. So I did stitch on that for one day, and let's see, 239 stitches. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing where I stitch on at least one piece, you know, one day from each category. I mean, I like the idea of doing that, but I also like the idea of getting more days in on things, and so it probably will be a month by month sort of thing. I guess depending on how many days in the month, and then on what Whip Go pieces get called. So Whip Go for April, Little Sheep Virtues and Sweater Weather. I did stitch some on Little Sheep Virtues last night. This is another piece that I'm stitching on a 46 count fabric, and so it's very slow going. But I am using silks on this, and I did decide that, you know, 46 count obviously is not the recommended fabric, and so I'm going to take these buttons off, and I'm going to somehow turn them into like little pins that I can just stick in the, you know, once I get these finished, I'll do like a little pillow finish, and then I can stick the little pins in each month. Because I did buy the buttons for every one of the patterns, so. And I did stitch a little bit on Satsuma Street's Egg Hunt. I stitched on that sometime this week. I don't remember what days, but anyway, I don't have very much lacking on this. Not much at all, just like this lower corner down here, and then a little bit in the middle right here. So maybe I'll get it finished for Easter. I don't know. I don't know if I have a plan to work on it anytime soon. So, yeah, so these are I did have a plan to work on it. Well, maybe not. No, I worked 3 days on it already this month. Maybe just 2 days, because I don't think I stitched Thursday at all. This was a really rough week at work. But anyway, this is my plan for the month. I got my Whip Go pieces, my Blackbird, my sampler. I'm going to try to work on Memories of the Past some more. My Same Old Christmas pieces. My autumn will be the Sweater Weather. I can't say it any other way, guys. That is my Whip Go, part of my Whip Go. And let's see, I want to work on, you know, Egg Hunt, which I already did. I may work on that more if I have a chance this month. My Flora and Fauna, I'm going to work on Swoop and Soar. Crafting related, I'm going to work on Procrastinating. My full coverage, I want to work on Intricate Intimate Romance. I at least want to try to get all of the stitching that I've done already. I want to try to get it all, you know, completed with full cross stitches. Prim and Patriotic, I'm going to work on my Whip Go Little Sheep Virtues. And then I do want to work some more on the linen and threads sal that I just showed you, the Quaker. I'm sort of seeing the end of the tunnel on that one. So I have done a little bit of diamond painting, still moving. I did get a lot of stuff hung in my craft room. I'll include some pictures. Actually, I took some pictures of my apartment the other day. Not all of it, but just like the living area and the kitchen. I had a friend over for lunch last Friday, and so it was pretty clean. So I, took pictures while it was real clean. I am going to have diamond painting group this a week from today here in my apartment, and then the following weekend is Easter weekend. I'm not going to do anything on Easter. That's going to be it's a birthday, and so it's going to be kind of a hard day for me. So I think maybe on the Saturday over the holidays, our apartment gave us hams, and so I have a ham in my freezer that, I'm not going to cook just for myself. So I'm going out to Michael's out in Rogersville. The family's having a shrimp boil tomorrow, and so I'm going to go out there and spend some time with them, and then probably bring a load of stuff home. Yeah. I'm also, so the planner that I'm in right now is a academic, and so it ends in July. And so I know this month I need to try to figure out what I'm going to use for next year, academic year. And I've been looking really hard at Laurel Denise. So, if any of you guys use that planner and you can tell me any things that you think about it, I'm just having a hard time deciding which version I want to go with. So I actually spent some time this morning, and if you don't know, Laurel Denise is, for the most part, now they did come up with some new stuff that's not, and then the project planner is not, but for the most part, it's a planner that's has Dutch door sheets in it. And so I cut some sheets this morning trying to see if I would prefer the regular horizontal, or if I want to go with the portrait horizontal. I don't even know if they call it, do they call it that? The portrait version. So the regular version, the Dutch door sheets are down the middle, going this way. The portrait version, it's going across the bottom of the page. So you have a 2-page spread of your monthly calendar, and then at the bottom is your week. I kind of like the idea of that, but I'm just not sure, and they're not cheap, so I kind of want to know what I want. So they're dropping their new stuff on the 9th. So I'm going to play with this a little while, and I'll probably end up doing the next week I'll do, the horizontal. The portrait that goes across the bottom. Yeah, I'm really eager to see what covers they have coming out. They've had some really pretty covers. So I think that's it. That's all we got going on. Just my craft room is not quite, it's not anywhere near where I want it to be. I need to do some purging, and I do have all of my stuff though now. Like, I got my last little piece of equipment this past Sunday. I was planning to do my design board, my design wall behind me here, at least half of it. But I don't know. I don't know if I am or not. I don't know if I may have to just downsize it even more than half of what I had, because I had two 4x8 sheets that were, you know, butted together, and that was my design wall at the other house. So I don't know if I have enough room in here to do that. But, you know, like I said, at least I do have all of my stuff, and now it's just going to be sort of going through it and weeding out and finding a place for everything. So it's looking a lot better. So okay, I think I've rambled enough, and I'll put some pictures of, you know, the other stuff that I hung in my craft room and the pictures from my apartment. I hope you guys have a good week ahead, good month ahead. I hope you have a good holiday if you celebrate Easter, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Okay, so I decided to do a video instead. So when you walk into the craft room, I have this shelf with all of my fabric. Now these are on comic book boards and was originally on a little cube shelf like those over there. So they don't fit quite the same way here. So I don't know if that's going to be something I change or not, but so I made that the little maker thing. My daughter had bought the M last Mother's Day for me, and so I went and got the letters at Joann and just made the whole thing like that. So this is some of the stuff that I hung the other day. Just a little assortment of things. The upper right is a piece that I rescued. The bottom left is also. So, okay, we're, you know, keeping it real, people. It's not neat or anything. So, right here, I've got all of my ribbons. And then more ribbon. I have a lot of ribbon. And then my machine set up right here. Kind of office stuff over there. I hung that shelf and the little cork board, Wellington board the other day. That little cube shelf right there, it was a ironing surface. So it was a larger footprint than what it is now, and I just felt like I didn't have the room, so I dismantled that part of it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the stuff on top. Like I said, it's still a work in progress. So that little drawer thing right there, that's all my finishing, like glues and some of my small FOs, magnets, things like that. That tub right there is just stuff that I've yet to go through since I moved. I've got painting stuff and yarn. That cart right there is all of my quilting, not all of my quilting whips, but some of my quilting whips and sewing whips. And I just use this right here for ironing. I also have a ironing board that I bought, so if I have big pieces that I need to iron, I can do that. So I have that little table, and there's my ribbons. The books. This is more fabric and other craft stuff in these cubes. I have my diamond painting stuff in this dresser right here with my TV on top. And then back there I've got like my a bunch of rulers and some paper piecing papers, some boards for finishing cross stitch. Yeah, it's, you know, it needs a lot of organization. There's my rulers. This surface right here is my cutting surface, which obviously if I had to cut something right now, it wouldn't be able to do it, but This is sort of where I get when I'm kitting up stuff. So, and then let's see. Sorry if it's too shaky. So these two carts, this cart here is all of my whips according to categories. This is all of my fabric for cross stitching, plus kitted up things. The bulletin board the other day, and like I said, my spring wall hanging. Let me better angle. I had so much fun making this. This was for a challenge for our local quilt guild one year, I think in 2016. Oh, sorry. I actually won some ribbons for that. So the back of the door, that's some quilt blocks. Then I have all of my cross stitch, larger cross stitch FOs, or hanging back here on these little hangers. I've got a lot of stuff that I need to finish. And I think if I actually, you know, finish some stuff, then I could get rid of some of these supplies. So back there is all of my frames that are waiting for pieces. I've got stencils for quilting. I've got my travel machine table up here. This box right here is all of my little monthly pieces, which that really needs to go in another closet in the house. But I've got to do some rearranging in there first. So I've got a big thing of batting up there. And this is just more quilting whips, bag making supplies, quilting whips, quilting kits, some of my silhouette stuff. And down there at the bottom is my Project Linus fabrics, which I haven't worked on anything for Project Linus in quite a while. Batting scraps. That tote down there is it's a quilt that's going to be for my one of my brothers. This is where I have all of my floss. And then at the bottom is file folders with all of my patterns, cross stitch patterns. I did get my pegboards on the wall several weeks ago and got my little stash of finishing florals and plaques hung up. These just some like miscellaneous different kinds of projects, and some bags with floss. And it goes all the way up to the ceiling. So, yeah, definitely a work in progress, and it's overwhelming at times. So I just try to do what I can as I can and not let myself get totally overwhelmed by it.